Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICT's Edtech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del P. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Okay, good afternoon. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. So, today, ang focus ng ating discussion ay mean and variance of discrete random variable. So, kung ito yung focus ng discussion natin, last week, ano ba yung naging focus natin? Last week, ang naging focus natin ay discrete random variable. Yan, pinag-aralan natin. Ano-ano yung mga pinag-aralan natin? Bago yun, ano muna yung target natin ngayong araw? So ngayong araw, we're going to illustrate probability distribution for discrete random variable and its properties. Ano pa? Compute probabilities corresponding to a given random variable and illustrate the mean and variance of discrete random variable at we're going to calculate the mean and variance of discrete random variable. Hopefully, matapos natin to lahat, no? So, sige, start na tayo. Review muna tayo. Ano nga ba ang random variable? Ang random variable ay capacity. It is random variable is a capacity that connects a real number with any component in the sample space. It is anything that can be measured or count. Yan. So, yun yung mga pinag-aralan natin last time. Ano-ano pa? Also, we discussed about discrete random variable. Ano nga yung discrete random variable? Anything na finite or nabibilang is a discrete random variable. Ano pa yung kino-consider natin na discrete na isa pang klase ng random variable? Ang isa pang klase ng random variable ay yung tinatawag nating continuous random variable. Yan. Ito naman yung something that is measurable. Yan. So kung naaalala nyo, kapag nag-flip kayo ng coin, the number of heads that turns out, yun yung discrete random variable. Pero yung amount ng drinks on a medium-sized container or a large container, yun naman ay continuous random variable. Okay. Naaalala nyo ba? Sana naaalala, no? Kasi ito yung mga pinag-aralan natin last time. Last time, naggawa rin tayo ng experiment na kung saan nag-toss kayo ng nag-toss tayo ng coin 4 times. Na kung saan ito yung mga possible results kung natatandaan nyo. Yan. Out of the possible results, in-identify natin ang random variable x dito. Okay? Okay. Ang random variable x ay yung number ng times na nag-appear ang head. So in that case, sa unang sample space natin, walang head. So 0. Sa pangalawa, pangatlo, pang-apat at pang-5, meron tayong tagi-isang heads. So, okay, may 1 head, teacher. Next, sa mga susunod na example, may 2 heads. So, basically, may color coding na siya. So, para mas madali yung ma-identify, no? At dun sa mga susunod, may 3. At dun sa pinakahuling example natin, may 4 na heads. So, basically, kapag ang pinag-uusapan natin ay random variable, merong tsansa na ang value ni x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Ang tawag natin dito, kung matatandaan nyo, ay mass points. Yan. So kung ito ang mass points na tinatawag, or yan yung tinatawag na values of random variable, saan yan nakuha? Kasi kapag nag-flip tayo ng coin 4 times, posible na ang makuha natin ay walang head sa result. Pwedeng 1 head, 2, 3, or 4 na heads sa case na to. Now, let's consider yung number ng heads. So, ilan nga yun? Pwedeng walang head, pwedeng may 1 head, pwedeng 2, 3, or 4. Tawag natin siyan mass points. Ngayon, ano yung sample points? Ito yung mga outcome na kung saan isa-satisfy niya yung number of heads na kino-consider natin sa heading sa taas. So, kung may 0 head, ang outcome na papasok dito ay yung may 4 na tails. Now, kung may 1 head naman, ito yung mga outcomes na possible. Kapag naman 2 heads, ito yung mga nilista nating possible outcomes. Kapag may 3 heads, ito naman, mayroon tayong 4 dyan na items. At kung may 4 na heads, ito lang yung outcome. So, ibig sabihin, yung number ng occurrence ay kapag 0 head, meron tayong 1 sample point. Kapag naman meron tayong 1 head, meron tayong 4 na sample points. Pag 2 head, meron tayong 6. Pag 3, meron tayong 4. At kung 4, meron tayong 1 sample point. Now, para makuha natin, kukunin natin ang relative frequency nito. Pero in a form of a fraction, pwede rin namang in decimal. Okay, yun ang magsisilbing probability niya based on the relative frequency. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ang total lahat-lahat na ito ay ilan? Okay. Tingnan natin ha, 1 out of ilan? Diba 16? So 1 out of 16 kasi may 1 occurrence out of the 16 sample space. Yun yung probability na 0 head or walang head ang makukuha natin sa outcome. Ano naman yung probability na may 1 head? 1/4. Paano naging 1/4? Because it's 4 out of 16. Remember, lagi nating sinisimplify when it's in fraction form. Kaya siya naging 1/4. Pagdating naman sa pangatlo, kung saan meron tayong 2 heads, you're going to notice na, okay, teacher, 6 out of 14 exactly. 6 out of 16 exactly. How do we simplify that? Pag sinimplify natin yon, 3/8. Sa outcome na may 3 head, meron tayong 4 occurrences. So that would be 4 out of 16 or 1/4. At sa dulo, meron tayong 1 out of 16. Okay. So, knowing all the values that we have here. Okay. Pag tinanggal natin yung part na ito, okay, babalik ko ha, ayan yon. Now, pag tinanggal natin yung part na yan, at pinagsama natin yung number of heads at yung probability, or yung tinatawag nating values of the random variable, at probability, nakakabuo tayo ng tinatawag nating probability distribution. Ano yung probability distribution? These are the set of all possible values of random variable x. Ito daw set ng values ng random variable x together with their corresponding probability. Kasama ang probability niya. Ang tawag dito ay probability distribution. Narinig nyo na ang distribution before. Nung grade 7 kayo. Kailan yun? Nung nag-solve kayo ng mean median mode of group data. Naaalala kayo, teacher. Ano yun? Anong tawag dun sa distribution na yon? Frequency distribution table. Yun yung parang ganyan. So, frequency distribution, teacher. This time, since medyo tumaas na ang ating level, ang tawag na natin dito ay probability distribution. Bakit? Kasi it is made up of what? All possible values of random variable x at ano pa? At yung kanyang probability. Pag pinagsama mo raw yung dalawang yan, ang mabubuo natin ay probability distribution of x. Okay. Now, gawa pa tayo ng isa pang example galing dun sa pivot na activity natin, no? In a computer laboratory, the teacher wants to find out if there is a defective computer. So, okay. Suppose 3 computers were tested. Okay, so 3 computers ang itetest natin at hahanapin natin ang defective computer. One of her computer system servicing students to list all the possible outcomes such that D represents the defective computer and N represents the non-defective computer. Okay. So, let X be the random variable for the number of defective computers. Then let's illustrate the probability distribution of the random variable X. Nilista ko na lahat ng possible outcomes. Okay, kasi tatlong computers ang itetest, di ba? So, sa tatlong yon, kung a-identify natin yung random variable or yung number ng defective, pwedeng, pag namili tayo ng tatlo, lahat yon pwedeng hindi defective. So, working very well. Pwede rin naman na may isang defective sa set ng computers na pipiliin natin. So, value of the random variable kapag walang defective, 0. Kasi ang account natin ay yung number ng defective computers. Tapos dito naman, okay, tag-iisa teacher. Okay. Dun sa sumunod na mga example, defective, defective, tapos not defective. Tagdadalawa. Dun sa sumunod, 3. So, ibig sabihin, ang possible values ng random variable sa kaso na to ay 0, 1, 2, and 3. Yan. Para mabuo natin yung probability distribution, hindi na tayo mag-go through dun sa table kanina kasi ang tagal nun, teacher, no? Ang gagawin na lang natin dito ay we're going to identify kung ano yung mga values, ano yung mga items na i-consider natin, no? So, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Bakit? Pwedeng walang defective, pwedeng may isang defective, 2 defective, at 3 defective. Ilan lahat-lahat to? Pag binilang natin, 8. Okay, there are 8 possible outcomes. Out of the 8 possible outcomes, ilan dyan ang walang defective? That's 1 out of ilan? 1 out of 8 or 0.125. Pwede rin palang decimal. Yes. Okay. Next. Paano kung isa? There are 3. So, 3 out of 8. So, that's the probability is 3/8 or 0.375. Kung dalawa, 3 din. So, 3/8 din or 0.375. At yung last, 1 out of 8. So, 1/8 ang probability niya or 0.125. Okay, teacher. Ganun pala kunin. Ito, ang tawag natin dito ay probability distribution of random variable X. Itong dalawang example na to na kung saan nandoon yung anong laman, yung ating values ng random variable or mass points at yung ating probability, ganun din dito, ito ang tinatawag natin ulit, probability distribution of discrete random variable. Ito ay distribution na kung saan it contains the list of all possible values of X and yan yung 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, sa baba naman 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the corresponding probabilities. Ayan, yung mga fraction and decimal form na nasa pangalawang row. Ito din daw ay tinatawag nating probability mass function. So pag nabasa nyo sa ibang libro, probability mass function or PMF, ang ibig sabihin yan, we are also referring to probability distribution of discrete random variable. So ngayon, alam na natin kung paano bumuo ng probability distribution of discrete random variable or probability mass function. Next is, kailangan ma-identify, may mga characteristic kasi ang probability mass function. Ano-ano kaya yung characteristic na yan? Okay, tingnan natin mabuti. Obserbahan yung mabuti yung values ng probability. Anong masasabi nyo? In terms of the fraction, anong klaseng fraction yan? Kasi nga probability, no? So, normally, yung mga fraction na yun, una, ang observation natin, lahat teacher positive. So, non-negative property yon or characteristic. Ano pa? Other than that, masasabi din natin na ito ay okay teacher, napansin ko po na lahat sila proper fraction. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, ang value ng proper fraction ay nasa pagitan ng 0 at 1. Tama ba? So, kung nasa pagitan siya ng 0 at 1, then, okay. ayun na yung isang property niya. The probability of each value of random variable must be between or equal to 0 and 1. Remember, probability can be 0 and probability can also be 1. 0 if it's impossible to happen and 1 if it's sure to happen. In symbol, we write it in this way. Okay. So, kailangan masatisfy yung unang property. Ano yung unang property? Kailangan yung probability either 0, 1, or in between 0 and 1. Okay, gets na namin yan, teacher. Yan yung unang property ng probability distribution. Yung probabilities niya, ang value is from 0 to 1. Okay, next. What else? If you're going to look at this situation, may isa pang meron pang isa. Let's try to add all the probabilities. Sige, mamaya ko na ipapakita. Add muna natin. Add nyo nga yung 1/8, 3/8, 3/8, at 1/8. Pag in-add natin yan, okay, pag in-add natin yan, 1/8, 3/8, 3/8, tsaka 1/8, ang total, teacher, ay 8 out of 8, which is equal to 1. Tama? Okay. Paano naman to, teacher? Alam naman natin na ang 1/4 ay 4 out of 16. Alam din natin na ang 3/8 ay 4 out of 16. Tama ba? At alam natin na, ito ay 6 out of 16. Ang 1/4 ay 4 out of 16. Pag in-add natin yan, 1 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 1. Ang total niyan ay 16 out of 16 or 1. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, ito yung isang property that the sum of all probabilities of all values of the random variable must be equal to 1. Evident yun dun sa unang example at evident din yun dun sa pangalawa nating example. Tama ba? Okay. So, ano yung dalawang properties? Una, lahat ng values ng probability distribution of random variable ay kailangan from 0 to 1 ang value. Other thing is, another property would be, ang total niya ay equal sa 1. Yan. Okay. Sige nga, paano natin yun i-apply on what problems? Let's look at this problem. Determine if the distribution below is a discrete probability distribution. We do have a distribution, meron tayong distribution, pero paano natin masisigurado na ito ay probability distribution of discrete random variable or tinatawag nating discrete probability distribution? Siyempre, kailangan masatisfy niya yung dalawang property. Let's look at the values of the probability. Lahat yan proper fraction, so nasatisfy niya yung unang property. Paano naman yung pangalawang property? Ang pangalawang property, sinasabi na kapag in-add natin yan lahat, ang total niyan ay dapat 1. I-add natin lahat yan, ang total niyan ay, is it 1? Yun ang tanong eh. But the total is 5/3, so it's not equal to 1. Therefore, this is not a discrete probability distribution. So, distribution siya pero hindi siya discrete probability distribution. Okay, next. Paano to? Let's identify o decimal form naman. Paano natin kukunin yung values? Ganun pa din, i-add natin para matest natin kung ito ba ay discrete probability distribution. So, i-add natin lahat ng probability. Ang tanong, will that be equal to 1? Okay, still a question, but when it turned out na kapag in-add natin yan lahat, ang total niyan ay 1, then it's equal to 1. Therefore, it's a discrete probability distribution. Okay ba? Naiintindahan naman? So, I hope everything is clear. Yan. So, after nito, meron pang isang question. Consider the random variable x whose probability mass function is described by the table. Sinabi na ito ay probability mass function. Therefore, this is a discrete probability distribution. So, kung discrete probability distribution siya, paano natin mahahanap yung value ng question mark? Una, it should satisfy the two properties. Ano nga yun? Yung una, kailangan ang value niya ay between 0 and 1 or from 0 to 1. Pangalawa, ano yung pangalawang property? Kailangan ang sum niyan ay equal sa 1. Okay. So, lahat naman ng value na satisfy yung unang property. Sa pangalawang property, since probability mass function na siya, automatic, ang total niya ay 1. So, para malaman natin kung ano yung probability na 2 ang kanyang random variable, ima-minus natin lahat ng values na present doon. So, 1 minus the total values of probability present dyan sa given. Therefore, ang magiging sagot natin is 1 minus 0.7 kasi 0.7 ang total niyan. So, ano magiging sagot? Ang probability ay 0.3. Ganyan. Kapag ganyan yung approach ng problem, ganyan natin siya pwedeng isolve. Yan. Marami pa, di ba sabi nga natin, maraming paraan para mag-solve ng problem. So, it's up to you how you're going to discover. Ang importante, alam niyo yung konteksto ng problem na binigay sa atin. Okay. Now, eto pa. Determine whether the following can serve as probability distribution of random variable x. Alam naman natin na kapag sinabi natin probability distribution, it actually came from a formula, from a function. So, eto daw, identify daw natin na ang value nito ay discrete probability distribution. Paano natin yan malalaman? Okay. So, by substituting the values of x. So, since x is 1 sa una, okay, x is 1 sa una, di ba? So, ang gagawin natin, ipapalit natin si 1 with x. So, we have the probability of getting a 1 is equal to 1 plus 1 over 9, which is equal to 2/9. This is already in simplest form, so okay na yan. Okay. Next, probability of getting a 2 is equal to 2 plus 1 over 9. So, pinalitan ulit natin si x. This time, we replace it with 2 kasi nandun na tayo sa pangalawang value ng random variable. Remember, these are the values of the random variable. So, nung pinalit natin, ang value niya ay 3/9, which is, when simplified, is 1/3. Yan. Yung last na, sure. So, yung last na, ganun din, ang gagawin natin, 3 plus 1 over 9 is 4/9, which is already in simplest form. Now, paano natin malalaman kung ito ay discrete probability distribution or probability distribution of a random variable x? I-add natin lahat ng nakuha natin out of the given mass points. So, kapag in-add nyo, add nyo lang 2/9 plus 1/3 plus 4/9. Alam naman natin na yung 1/3 equivalent siya ni 3/9. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, that's 2/9 plus 3/9 plus 4/9, which is equal to 9 over 9, which is equal to 1. Then, if it's equal to 1, this is indeed a probability distribution of a random variable x. Kapag ginawa nyo ng table, ang magiging table natin, the x, ito yung 1, 2, 3, at nandito yung kanyang probability. Yan. Okay ba? So, anong probability nito? 2/9. Anong probability nito? 1/3. Okay. Binigyan ko lang kayo ng example, pero not necessarily to have it in that form. Okay. So, we're done already with the technicalities. This time, ang gagawin naman natin is identify naman natin paano natin siya i-relate into a problem. Let's take a look at one problem. Okay. Golden's Bakery is known for its famous Filipino delicacies. Among these foods, which is a native delicious food called kakanin, sa yung mga nagmimerienda dyan, okay, nagugutom na, no, is a leche puto. The bake shop owner recorded the number of boxes of leche puto that were delivered each day. The number of boxes delivered for 10 days is shown below. Okay. Actually, at the left. Now, if you're going to look at this scenario, okay, eto na. So, sa day 1, 35 boxes. Ganun yung interpretation natin sa table. Ano yung table na yan, teacher? Sa day 1, 35 boxes daw ang na-deliver. Sa day 2, 37, and so on until day 10, which is 42 boxes ang na-deliver natin. Now, if you're going to look at it, yan. Gagawa daw tayo ng probability distribution. Okay. So, paano na tayo gagawa ng probability distribution? Identify natin ilan ba yung mga number ng boxes na lumabas. So, meron tayong 35, 37, 40, 42, at 45, at 50. Saan nyo nakikita? Ito yung mga number of boxes. Yan. Pinagtabi ko sila para makita nyo yung relationship. Kasi, syempre, pag nagsosolve kayo, no, dapat nakikita nyo yung saan ang galing. Okay. Ano yung probability, teacher? Ilang beses nagkaroon ng delivery na 35 boxes? 1 out of ilang araw. Out of 10 days, isang araw lang nagkaroon ng delivery. Then the probability of that would be 1/10. Kasi nga relative frequency siya, no? Yung 37, ilang araw nagkaroon ng delivery na 37? Dalawa, teacher. Okay. So 35 isa, 37 dalawa. Yan. Okay. 1/5 or 2 out of 10 or 1/5. Yan, dinediretso ko na. Pero galing siya sa 2 out of 10. Eh, since pwede natin siyang i-simplify, 1/5. Sabi nga ni Ma'am Blessy, or ni Blessy, similar fraction. O, di ba? Now, 40. Ilang beses nag-appear si 40? 1 out of 10 kasi 1 time lang. Si 42, nag-appear siya ng 2 out of 10 or 1/5. Yan. And si 45, 3 out of 10. Pinakamarami pala si 45, no? Boxes. And sa 50, 1 out of 10. Ito na ngayon yung ating probability distribution of random variable table. Okay. So, alam na natin yan. Meron na tayo yan. The next thing that we have to do is, halimbawa, pinapa-identify ko. Ayan, nandiyan na yung computation. No? What is the probability that 40 or more boxes will be delivered on a day? Kung mapapansin nyo, 40 or more boxes means 40 and above. Kaya, yung computation natin, probability of getting 40, kasi 40 and above, hindi tayo pwedeng lumabas sa kung anong meron tayo. So, probability of getting 40, 42, 45, and 50, that satisfies the condition. Ano ba yung probability of getting 40? 1 out of 10. 1/5, 3/10, and 1/10. Alam natin na ang 1/5 ay 2/10. Yan. So, add nyo lang yun. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1, the answer is 7/10. So, the probability of having 40 or more boxes delivered on a day is what? 7 out of 10. Yan. So, this is how you're going to get the probability out of a given problem. Okay, next. What is the probability that the number of boxes delivered will be at least 37 but at most 45? Pinapakita ko na para mas makita nyo. Pag sinabi natin at least 37 but at most 45, the least value of the delivery is 37 boxes. And at most, the highest boxes or the highest number of boxes in terms of its delivery is 45. Okay, teacher. So, ang kukunin lang natin yung 37, 40, 42, at 45. At yun ay 1/5 plus 1/10, ayun yun, plus 1/5 plus 3/10. So, kapag in-add daw natin to, masasatisfy yung given value. So, anong sagot natin? 8 out of 10 or 4/5 or 0.8. Diba? So, madali lang siya. Next, what is the probability that at most 40 boxes will be delivered on a particular day? When we say at most, the highest number of boxes in terms of its delivery is 40, ang pinakamataas. So, 40, meaning 40 and below. Kaya ang probability natin is in this form. Yan. Probability of getting 35. Ito. 37 and 40. Bakit? Kasi 40 and below. At most 40. So, highest is 40. So, counted si 37 at saka 35. So, ano yung probability niya? 1/10 plus 1/5 plus 1/10. That would be 4 out of 10 or 2/5 or 0.4. Remember, 1/5 is equivalent or similar to 2/10. Next, find the probability that it's less than 45. O ano-ano yon? Okay, nandiyan na. Ang less than 45 natin ay 45, 42, 40, 37, and 35. That means we're going to add all the probabilities na 1/10 plus 1/5 plus 1/10 plus 1/5 plus 3/10. And the answer is 9 over 10 or 0.9. So, ganyan natin kunin yung probability of an item based on a given problem. Okay. So, madali lang naman siya. So, probability of X is less than or equal to 45. Okay. So, may isang option pa ng pagsosolve. Kanina, ang ginawa natin, okay, ito pala, sorry. Kanina, ang ginawa natin, kinuha natin lahat. Pero notice na may isa lang na hindi kasama out of the given. Ano yung isa na yon? Yung 1 over 10. Alam naman natin na kapag in-add natin to lahat in a probability distribution, in a discrete probability distribution, ang total niyan ay 1. So kung 1 ang total niyan, pwedeng nating gawin instead of doing this na mahaba yung proseso, another way of doing it would be negating that. Pag sinabi natin negate, tatanggalin natin kung ano yung hindi kasama. Alam natin na ang total nito 1, pero ang magsasatisfy na probability of getting less than 45 ay lahat ng ito. So kapag ganon, kung lahat ng ito ang probability na yon, ang hindi lang kasama ay itong last. So I'd rather remove that from 1. 1 minus the probability na 50. So 1 minus 1 over 10 is equal to 9 over 10, which is the same dun sa sagot natin kanina. Okay, another way lang yan. Sabi nga natin, there is no one way in a particular solution as long as it's mathematically correct. So, find the probability that it will be 40 and 50. Ito very specific naman. So, kunin lang natin yung 40, 1 out of 10. Yung 50, 1/10 din. Okay. Sorry, 1/10 din. So, 1/10 plus 1/10, anong sagot dyan? 2/10 or 1/5 or 0.2. Yan, mali yung decimal na yun ha. 1/5. Okay, next. Let's talk about random variable this time. Have you ever wondered, no? So, tapos na tayo on random variable. This time, lawakan pa natin yung kaalaman natin about random variable. Mag-focus naman tayo on mean and variance of discrete random variable. Paano natin to pag-aaralan, teacher? Imagine meron kayong isang die, cube die, na kung saan nag-trial kayo ng 6,000 times. 6,000 times yung trinay. Kung fair die ang die natin, ina-assume natin na, okay, kung 6,000 to at fair die to, ibig sabihin, in principle, yung 1, a-appear siya 1,000 times. Yun yung ina-expect natin. Yung 2, mag-a-appear siya 1,000 times din. Ganon din si 3. Ganon din si 4. Ganon din si 5 at ganon din si 6. So, ibig sabihin, if we're going to look at this scenario, it shows that this can be solved or pwede nating mahanap yung kanyang mean. Remember, ang mean natin sa frequency distribution is we add everything divided by the number of items that we added. Naalala nyo ba yon? Pero sa discrete random variable, iba kasi merong involvement ng values ng random variable. So anong gagawin natin? Para makuha natin yung mean or yung average niya, kailangan i-multiply natin yung number of occurrence by the value of the random variable, which is in this case, ang possible sample space natin ay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, 1,000 times 1, 1,000 times 2, hanggang 1,000 times 6, kasi nga merong 1,000 occurrence yung phase na 6, divided by ano? Divided by 6,000, kasi 6,000 times natin na ni-roll ang die. Hypothetical lang to, ha? Now, kung ganun ang mangyayari, ibig sabihin, meron tayong 1,000 plus 2,000 plus 3,000 plus 4,000 plus 5,000 plus 6,000 divided by 6,000. Okay, anong pinupunto mo dito, teacher? Pinupunto ko na pwede nating hanapin ang mean ng discrete random variable, that there is a way that we can do that. Katulad ng paghanap ng mean sa frequency distribution. Yan. So, anong naging resulta? 21,000 over 6,000. Anong sagot nun? 7/2, which is approximately 3.5. If we're going to look at this idea or this item, okay, ang 3.5 is not a value na lalabas kapag nag-roll kayo ng die. Pero remember that 3.5 isn't a phase of a die. It is the mean or the average of total possible outcomes. So we can say that kapag nag-roll kayo ng die several times, ang resulta magiging malapit sa 3.5. Bakit? Kasi ito yung average natin. Ngayon, habang dumadami yung number ng times na pag-roll natin, the more that the value will be closer to 3.5. Yun yung interpretation nitong activity na to. Now, Dahil dito, we can characterize the mean of a discrete random variable by utilizing probabilities from its dispersion kung gaano naka-spread out sa data or sa distribution natin yung yung ating random variable. So, paano nangyari yon? It means that the mean is considered as the measure of central location ng random variable. So, anong ibig sabihin? Siya yung sentro or central location. Yung mean nyo mismo ng random variable, siya yung sentro ng pinaka-distribution natin ng random variable. Okay, ano pa yung true about the mean? It is also true that the expected value or the mean can be solved. Okay, paano natin sinusolve yon? Okay, this symbol is mu. Okay, the expected value or the mean of a discrete random variable can be computed by first multiplying each possible value. Ito yon, bawat possible value, ito siya. By the probability. Okay, by its probability. Ito din, x squared, x sub 2 times the probability of this, and so on. Anong ibig sabihin ng teacher? Naalala niyo yung die kanina. So, yun. So, ibig sabihin, we can actually solve the expected value or the mean of random variable by what? By multiplying the value of the random variable with its corresponding probability. Ganun ba yun, teacher? Yes. And adding all those values will give us the expected value or the mean of the discrete random variable. Okay. Sige, explain pa natin further. Suppose you want to find the average of the number of apples sold in any 5 grocery stores as indicated by the figure below. So, hanapin daw natin yung average ng number ng apples na nabenta. Okay? By the groceries. By 5 groceries as stipulated or as shown below. So, ang gagawin natin is, yung mean natin, approximately by looking at it, ang sentro mo ay 11, therefore ang mean natin ay 11. Pero, is there a way to check that? Yes, there's a way to check that. Actually, pwede nating i-check yung left side at right side. Na kung saan, i-assume natin na itong value na to ay yung gitnang value, yung 11. So, we can add all the values of 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 6, 7 until 10, divide it with its number. Ang magiging sagot niyan, kapag ginawa nyo yon ay Okay, gawin natin ha. Sige. Pag in-add nyo yung value nito, di ba ito, kinuha natin yung average nito, kinuha din natin yung average nito, at dinagdag natin yung 11 kapag kinuha natin yung average niyang 3. Ibig sabihin, ang total na average na makukuha din natin ay 11. Ganun yung ibig sabihin dun sa unang description ng mean na sinabi that mean is considered as the measure of central location. Okay, gets nyo ba? Okay, ngayon, para siyang siso na kung saan yung sentro ng distribution nyo ay yung pinaka-mean ninyo. Ang mean ay nire-represent in the symbol of mu sub x. Yan. The best way to describe it is if x is a random variable with mean, when mean of the given symbol, then the variance of x is defined by this formula. Okay. So, meron palang formula si random variable. Yes. Ito naman yung variance ng random variable na kung saan from the concept ng mean or ng expected value, since may spread out yung distribution natin, mula doon mabubuo yung konsepto ng variance na kung saan sinasabi yung pagkakaspread ng data natin. At ganoon din ang standard deviation. Okay. So, ito naman ang formula natin for standard deviation na kung saan ang standard deviation is simply the square root of the variance. Mapapansin nyo, ito yung formula na kung saan kinukuha natin, no? Kaya nga sabi dito, kinukuha natin yung difference ng para makuha natin yung variance, anong gagawin natin una, teacher? Kukunin natin yung difference ng score or ng value ng random variable minus the mean. We're going to square it para mas makita natin yung magnified view niya, saka natin siya i-multiply by the probability. Kapag ginawa natin yon, by that time, ang kinukuha natin is yung deviation ng scores from the mean. Gaano kalayo yung mga random variables natin from the mean. Pero ito, mag-start tayo mag-solve nito next week. Ine-explain ko pa lang yung konsepto ng variance at standard deviation of random variable. Ito namang standard deviation, ang pinag-uusapan naman natin dito is gaano ka-spread out yung random variable from the mean. Yun, gaano kalayo yung mga distance. Kasi ano to when we talk about, naalala nyo nung diniscuss nyo yung standard deviation nung kayo ay grade 7, sa last quarter ng math 7 nyo, ang pinag-uusapan dito is gaano ka-spread out ang data natin. So, we're going to continue our discussion next week at ang gagawin natin, i-apply natin ngayon yung konsepto ng standard deviation at variance at expected value in a particular problem. So again, the expected value is also the mean of the random variable. Yan. So ano pa? The variance of a random variable with a mean is defined as the given formula on which it is the what? Ano nga yan? It is the difference of the score, the square of the difference of the score and the mean multiplied by the product, and we're going to get the summation of that. So, next week, i-apply natin ang variance para mas makita nyo yung gamit niya at yung relevance niya sa discussion natin ng random variable. So, that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something relevant for today. Yan. So, may mas exciting na discussion tayo next week kasi this time, puro konsepto ang pinag-usapan natin, no? Next time, ano nang gagawin natin? Magdi-discuss na tayo ng application ng variance, standard deviation, at expected value. Magandang discussion natin dito. So, don't miss that out. Okay? Maraming salamat. Yan. Yan. Okay, so yan ha. Magkikita-kita ulit tayo next week. God bless. Have a great...
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!